35 tahun Mizan hadir. Dari Nusantara mencerahkan semesta. Merayakan komitmen dan menghadirkan literasi terbaik. Menampilkan Yasmin Mogahed, Muslimah inspirator dan penulis Reclaim Your Heart. Sujiwo Tejo. Pidi Baik. Tompi. Memberikan apresiasi. Beasiswa Mizan 2018. Teroka, Pusat Penyebaran Karya-Karya Islam Indonesia. Tribute to Hernowo. Dan dipandu oleh Inayah Wahid.
Mogahed. Assalamualaikum. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. How are you doing this evening? Doing all right? Okay, I'm going to need a little more than that. How are you doing? All right, alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah, it's a pleasure to be here. So before I start, I want to share a little bit about myself. And that is that I have this thing as a teacher, as a speaker. And that is that I don't like to speak at people. I like to talk with people. I like communication, which is two ways. Now the problem is that when I'm one person and there's hundreds on the other side, it's difficult to have two-way communication. It's difficult to have a conversation. So I find myself in a sort of a bind because I'm up here and I'm speaking and you can't speak back with me. So what I typically ask from my audience, what I request, is a bit of a strange request, but it's that I ask my audience to make faces at me. Thank you. I ask my audience to make faces. Well, what does that mean? Let me tell you, one of the hardest things as a speaker is to speak to an audience that looks like this. The entire time. Because I can't read you. And I feel like I'm talking at you. So my request is to be animated. If I'm saying something that you think is ridiculous, it's okay to make a face. If I'm saying something that you understand, do this. If I'm saying something you disagree with, it's okay to be like, mm-mm. But please, make faces. Fair enough? Some of you refuse still. So, I'm here today with you, and I've had the privilege of coming to Indonesia for the first time. And alhamdulillah, it's been a pleasure to finally make it here. I've had the honor and the privilege to be able to bring my life's work to your shore. I've written these books with what I call blood, sweat, and tears. You know, when you pick up a book like this, looks like, okay, it's some words on a page, they printed it. But I can guarantee that what I had to go through in my life was more than just words on a page to write this book, to write both of them. Reclaim Your Heart is a book that is a collection of my life lessons, my life work, my pain, and my triumphs over more than a decade. It's a collection of what I went through and what I learned along the way for more than 10 years. So when people pick up Reclaim Your Heart, they're kind of picking up my journey that I've shared. And I did that for a very specific reason. I did that because I wanted to help others. Because just as we have different backgrounds, we speak different languages, we maybe have different upbringings, but there's something that we share. There is a shared human experience, and that's where I wanted to get to. I wanted to write about that. And I think that that's what has made people relate to Reclaim Your Heart and to Love and Happiness. I've come today with a few limited copies of my English book in the way and in the words that I wrote them. Because as a writer, if you speak from the heart, you need to speak in your own words and in your own language. And only in that way can you really communicate what it is as a writer that you want to communicate. So what I want to do, just briefly, is to read an excerpt from this work, just to share with you, so you have an understanding of what inspired me to share and write. In the introduction of Love and Happiness, I write, "Things fall apart, and they break sometimes. Like many of you, my journey hasn't always been easy. Pain is very real, and so is loss. Sometimes it's hard not to let the weight of what we carry or the memory of what we've lost take over. Many of us know the reality of struggle, and so many people suffer in silence. It is hard. It is hard not to give up when we face the repeated disappointments of life. Like some of you, I have known loneliness. I have known defeat. I have fallen many times chasing mirages and broken many bones building castles in life's fading sands. Sometimes all it took was one solid wave to destroy what I had spent years building. And so I decided to give it a voice, all of it, the tears, the pain, and the lessons. The things which I saw and learned and gained along my life path needed a voice. I wanted to give back in hopes of helping myself and others survive. But then it wasn't only about surviving. I didn't only want to survive, and I didn't only want others to survive inside their storms. I wanted people to thrive inside their storms. And so I wrote as I walked through my own. The words found in these books became my voice and my letter to the world. They became my deepest attempt to not only pick myself up, but others along the way. I wrote because just as we will fall in life, so will we rise. That's the thing about this world. it never gives us only one kind of path. There is pain, yes, and loss, and even darkness. But there is also light. There is hope. There is beauty. And there is also love and happiness.
Assalamualaikum, Yasmin.
Walaikum salam.
I will sit here to accompany you so you don't feel like you are accompanied by the unseen because there's empty chair in here. Sekali lagi tepuk tangan untuk Yasmin. Is it okay if we'll talk more, not too serious?
Whatever you want to do.
Okay. Welcome in Indonesia. So how do you feel when you get to Indonesia?
I feel very welcomed. You know, it's a very, I love Indonesia. The culture here is very welcoming, very warm, mashallah. People have been very, kind and hospitable, mashallah.
Alhamdulillah. Yasmin, we would like to know, because since you are a Muslimah and you live in the United States, you grew up there, you of course experienced the, I don't know, what do you call it, turmoil? No? You call it the situation, the changing situation. Could you tell us a bit about what actually happened as a Muslim right now in the United States? Because many of us didn't actually understand what is going on. We only got the information from the media, and we don't even really know if it's fake news or it's the real news. So how do you experience as a Muslim right now?
Well, after we got the news of Trump's election, I felt a little bit like Musa alayhi salam in front of the Red Sea. We're told this story in the Quran that Musa alayhi salam was with the children of Israel, and they had Pharaoh and his army behind them. And they got to the Red Sea, and now they have this body of water in front of them. So Allah tells us that Bani Israel, the children of Israel, responded, فَلَمَّا تَرَاءَ الْجَمْعَانِ قَالَ أَصْحَابُ مُوسَى إِنَّا لَمُدْرَكُونَ. The children of Israel, when they saw the armies, so now they're seeing this massive army trying to come at them, and now the Red Sea is in front of them, they responded with, "Indeed, we will be overtaken." This was their response to the situation. They started to panic. They started to almost fall into despair. Indeed, we will be overtaken. Now, I reflected on this because when he got elected, I feel that we as a community had a very similar response. We will be overtaken. We were worried we're going to be put in concentration camps, or, the Muslim ban. All of this, we were scared. Now, I find a lot of inspiration in the response of Musa alayhi salam. In the same situation, he replied, قَالَ كَلَّا. He said, no, by no means. And this is where the power is. قَالَ كَلَّا إِنَّ مَعَيَ رَبِّي سَيَهْدِينَ. He said, no, we won't be overtaken. He said, by no means. Indeed, my Lord is with me, and He will guide me through this. He will get me through this. And so I think that what I've learned and my experience, obviously growing up in the U.S., is that no human being has the power. Even if they're in office, even if they're the president of the superpower, the power is still with Allah. And so I think really that's been the guiding force for me, realizing that power, Allah's still in charge, regardless of who's in office. And my experience gosh, almost 4 decades. I just gave away my age. Is that what you give out is a lot of what you get back. And that's what I've found. You know, if you see the world as very negative, you tend to attract negativity. But if you try to do your best to be positive and to share positivity, that tends to be what you attract as well.
Okay, but that's not only happening in United States right now. You can see that it's become a world trend. You know, the post-truth trend. So that negativity is also experienced by the other people in the other part of
Yes.
the world.
Yes.
So what can you give, you know, like tips and anything about for the people, like how to face that kind of situation, that negativity?
Okay, coping. Again, I think that, and you're right. It's definitely not just Muslims who are feeling that discrimination and that pressure. As we know, there was, you know, in the news recently about separating the families and just the crazy things that the administration were doing. How do you handle that? And I think that for us, and as a believer, the coping is in our faith. Again, when you realize that regardless of who's in the position, Allah is the one in charge. And I think a big part of it is doing your best to provide light in a room of darkness. So for example, right now we're sitting in this very bright lit, you know, ballroom. If all of a sudden the lights cut out and it's very, very dark, no one can see. Now everyone could sit and complain that it's dark. In fact, we can take out our phones, we can post messages, we can post on Facebook, we can call up our friends and our family and complain about the darkness, right? But have we changed anything about the situation? Have we changed anything about the darkness by simply complaining about it? And the answer is no. But if we go and get a candle, if we go and get a light, we've actually changed the situation. We've added light to that darkness. And I think that's the way we have to change our thinking. Rather than focusing on the darkness, we need to focus on being a source of light.
Okay. Thank you very much. And I'm sure that's what you were talking about in your book, right?
Absolutely.
Being that light.
Being a source of light, yes.
Being source of light.
Yes.
Yasmin, as you know that you were living as a, well, you can say you're living as a minority in United States.
Yes.
But here in Indonesia, we are the majority. But things are not that different since we also have like different races, different religions here. And how do you think could be a good way to live with that fact that we are actually living with different kind of peoples?
Well, you know, one of the beautiful things about our deen, about our religion, is that we believe that we are all brothers and sisters in humanity because we have one creator. And, you know, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us that He created us in nations and tribes لِتَعَارَفُوا, in order for you to know one another, to get along with one another. And so it's, you know, the strife that happens between groups, this is something from the shaitan. Shaitan wants us to be divided, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to be united. So the divisions actually, this isn't something that Allah wants for us. And Allah tells us to be united, you know, as an ummah, but also with the greater human family. Yeah.
Thank you very much, and it's a blessing for us tonight that we are united with you.
Alhamdulillah, thank you. It's my honor.
Yes, and of course, we're going to have your book launching tonight. Sorry, and I would like to invite Bapak Abdillah Toha, Komisaris Mizan, untuk menyerahkan blog poster kepada Yasmin Mogahed. Silakan Pak Abdillah. Oke, terima kasih. Pak Abdillah, berfoto bareng, jangan turun dulu dari panggung, mohon berfoto bareng. We'll take pictures together. Kita juga minta perwakilan dari Nura dan MP untuk monggo Mbak untuk foto. Oke, terima kasih. Thank you, Yasmin.